So there's a lot going on right now, but let's start with this. Give us a quick rundown of what's happening currently in Jerusalem and how we even got here in the first place with this conflict breaking out.
Well, there are a lot of issues coming together at the same time, but the most important fact is that you have internal divisions in Palestinian politics. You had elections that were going to be on May 22nd. And this was Fatah, who the West deals with, the Fatah party led by Mahmoud Abbas, the Palestinian Authority president. He saw in the polls that Hamas was going to win, the terrorist group that currently occupies all of Gaza. As a result, he called off the elections. The excuse he gave was because of Palestinians not being able to vote in eastern part of Jerusalem. This is something he is very much trying to direct the attention of the Palestinian people toward this issue, toward the issue of Jerusalem, rather than the fact that in the 24 hours or so after he announced that he was postponing these elections, a lot of these Palestinians were extremely annoyed because he was elected for a 4-year term. He's now in the 16th year. Hamas, on the other hand, of course, is a terrorist group designated by the United States and is pledged to Israel's destruction. They, of course, would like to show that they are better at representing Palestinian aspirations and better able to destroy Israel from Gaza. So it's their own internal bickering, which is making this situation even worse. Today, of course, we've seen over 150 rockets at this point launched from Gaza into Israeli territory, which Israel is going to have to respond to. There are, of course, many other issues swollen into this, but as you said in your opening, it's a test for the Biden administration, which is bound to come from the Middle East in any new administration. And so far, as you've pointed out, it's not performing particularly well at all.
And so to that point, what do you make of these Israeli officials basically telling the Biden administration to stay out of it, to tell the U.S. and the international community that at this point, stay out of it? Because if you were to bring yourself into this, it would actually only help the Palestinians who are firing rockets, and Hamas, as you were saying, rockets at Israel right now. What do you make of that?
I think Israel is quite right to say what it said. I mean, the fact is, under the Trump administration, President Trump stood by Israel and with Israel and would only issue something in support of Israeli action because, of course, no one should allow rockets to be fired on their people. And, of course, the violence and the lynchings that are taking place in Jerusalem neighborhoods is simply not okay. This administration is, of course, going back to what the Obama administration did, issuing both sidesism whenever it gets the opportunity, as though some Israeli action that is currently happening could possibly be like launching rockets into civilian areas. I mean, these are not even close to the same league. So the Biden administration, it would be better if it were to be supportive of Israel or to just not say anything, because this situation is, of course, what Palestinians want. They do not want to have to deal with their own internal corruption from a leadership level, which would have solved, of course, the whole election problem to begin with, which is what is making them drag Jerusalem into this type of issue, into this heated situation that we're in today.